Hello HEMA friends and welcome to this new video. If you have a left-handed fencer in your club, you should praise every single deity in the world and gift him some chocolate every week because, damn, having the chance to fence frequently against a left-handed fencer is extremely important. If otherwise you don't have the chance to fence one and every time you fence with a left-handed fencer you get wrecked without understanding what happened, well, maybe this video can help you. 5 things you have to know while fencing a lefty. Don't worry left-handed people out there, this video is for you too, funny enough, but because these conditions for you are as common as much as they are rare for a right-handed fencer, chances that most of these things for you will feel pretty obvious. That said, first advice. Everything is mirrored. Yeah, pretty obvious, right? Well, it's obvious but easy to forget nonetheless. If you are used to go for the right arm of the opponent while searching for the closer target, chances that it would be better at least to try out going for the left one, because now is the closer one. Same is for outside and inside lines, now are mirrored instead of opposed, as usual, which means that the opponent Mandriti will reach for your outside line and the Roversi for your inside, which is the opposite to, let's say, your regular conditions, and which will create you some trouble. Second, don't trust your usual measure management. While fighting against a lefty, the distance between you and the opponent may look the same as normal, and broadly speaking it actually is. The problem is that the leading shoulder of the two fencers are now placed on the same line, which means that they are actually closer to each other. This also means that reaching the chest or the main arm with a direct action tends to be slightly easier. Even if while fencing with the longsword, this difference is slightly mitigated by the position of the chest, it is still present and makes the difference if you do not pay attention to it. Unfortunately for right-handers, lefties tend to be far more aware of this difference, because for them it tends to be the standard. So pay attention to this. Third, outside and inside are mirrored. Now, I mentioned this before in the first advice, but the weight this thing has while fighting is huge, and if you forget this for a second, you may easily get stabbed directly. While fencing against a lefty, you ideally want to have him attacking you on your inside line, because the advantage you have while parrying or thrusting on tempo is doubled by the fact that you are not only landing your action on your strong side, but also you are landing it on the weak side of the opponent. Again, a left-handed fencer knows this pretty well, generally speaking, and he will generally try to land most of the action on your outside line. Fourth, parrying is harder. Now, it is not that parrying is harder per se. The problem is that our movements tend to set on what we fight the most, and being now the opponent's Mandriti and Roversi swapped, everything is slightly different. I bet that almost every one of you knows pretty well the difference that there is between Mandriti and Roversi while talking about directions, angles, power generation, body mechanics, etc. So generally speaking the mechanic is different, and so if your parry doesn't properly move in search for the opponent's blow, chances that your parry will be slightly out of place compared to your usual, because remember, everything is the opposite. And the fifth, which I will say last but not least, it's even more important probably, remember that your opponent is a fencer, not only a lefty. This means that even if there is a consistent variable, you always have to keep in mind it doesn't change the fact that every fencer is different from each other. That's why if you have a 1 or 2 left-handed fencer in your club, the tips above will be far less useful. The moment you have the chance to practice enough against a lefty, you simply understand that there is no difference compared to fencing any other fencer. Because once the main variable is dealt with, then you have to, as usual, start to figure out the favorite techniques and tactics of that specific fencer, which is the complex part. So, in the end, the best advice I can give you if you are having problems fighting left-handed fencer is find a left-handed fencer, ask him to fence together, possibly in a consistent way, then keep in mind the tips above, and after a little bit of work, everything will be fine. Very good people, we are at the end of this video. Remember to check my Patreon page if you want to support my channel and if you want to see more of my content. A huge thank you to my friend Davide Locatelli, which is the fencer sparring with me in the video. A really good and smart chap. Thanks for watching people, and as always, see you next time.